This course is sponsored by the USAA Foundation. We'd like to thank the USAA Foundation for their generosity in making this course possible.
There are at least 1.3 million caregiving youth between the ages of 8 and 18 years in the United States. I was one of those hidden youth when, as a preteen, I cared for my grandfather, who coincidentally was a veteran, often assisting him with medical, personal hygiene, and mobility needs, supporting youth who support veterans. I'm Dr. Connie Siskowski, and I'm the founder and president of the American Association of Caregiving Youth, or AACY. We created AACY as a national resource for children who sometimes sacrifice their education, health, well-being, and childhood to provide care for family members who are chronically ill, injured, elderly, or disabled. In a previous PsychArmor course, Supporting Children Who Support Veterans, we focused on how very young children might be helping at home with some limited caregiving tasks. In this course, we take our education a bit further and will feature resources and strategies to help you assist caregiving youth who are around middle school age and older through a framework called CARE, which stands for Connection, Advocacy, Research, and Education. How do we establish a connection among these youth caregivers and also connect them to resources? It begins with a shift in focus on children as caregivers and not children of caregivers. There is very little recognized support for these kids. Many parents also have an unfounded fear that if they reach out for help, their family will be split apart. To understand this complex issue, we have to understand the scope of the problem. Caregiving tasks can take a lot of a young person's time and energy, ranging from helping with food preparation and household chores to assisting siblings with homework and personal hygiene. Caregiving for the veteran might include putting on clothes, serving meals, and helping to get up from a chair or to walk. Children might even assist with tasks that the wounded parent or older sibling used to do for themselves. Some youth might help family members understand direction and learn more about managing their illness or disability. This may include translation, even at medical appointments. It is not unusual for youth caregivers to give medications of many types. Asking questions to make sure instructions are understood and written for future use is very helpful. Taking care of someone you love who is wounded or ill becomes a family learning experience with all the ups and downs of understanding how life has changed and how to make it the best it can be. Some caregiving youth come from homes without enough money to meet the family needs. These challenges can make the situation more complicated. It is our hope that we can connect you to resources to support your caregiving family to ease some of these burdens. In addition, connecting youth caregivers with each other within military and veterans families lets everyone know that they are not alone. We've got their back. One of the most important parts of childhood is developing friendships. Youth caregivers deserve a great childhood and also to have time to bond with friends who might be in similar circumstances. Creating a support network ensures that your child has resources both inside and outside the home. Connecting youth caregivers with peers who are also providing care helps them find someone who is walking in their shoes. Encourage them to share their stories with others. If it's too hard to get together in person very often, there are many ways kids can connect via social networks to support one another as they travel along their caregiving journey. The AACY organization has been providing advocacy on behalf of youth caregivers to identify, help, and bring national recognition to the children and adolescents in the United States who have dual roles as students and caregivers. Studies have shown that without support, caregiving youth may drop out of school. They become overwhelmed or feel that they have to financially help their family. The good news is that with recognition and support, youth caregivers will become healthy, educated, and productive adults. They ultimately realize they have life skills that many of their peers don't. It makes them better prepared for adulthood. In the U.S., there is no recognition or public support to provide needed solutions on behalf of this hidden population. AACY is working with several legislators to change this. Together we are stronger, and we must further raise the level of awareness of the multi-system needs of caregiving youth. The initiatives of CARE are each important steps to formal recognition of these children. We must continue to research ways to support the caregivers' academic, emotional, physical, and financial needs. One of the purposes of our organization, AACY, is to collaborate and share best practices with people in other states outside of my home state of Florida. One of our primary goals is to provide support for youth caregivers who live anywhere in the U.S. and to make sure they know they are not alone. In-home respite care provides relief for the youth caregiver and other family who share responsibilities for the needs of their family member. It is so important to give caregivers of any age a break. We try to provide respite at least once a week. It's one of those simple things we all take for granted, but can mean so much for a family to feel cared about and not to be so isolated. Respite can mean that a youth caregiver and other family members can have some time away from home without worries, and respite time can be used to just have fun with friends or chill. Educate your local school staff and healthcare professionals about the effects that your family's health circumstances are having on your child. Stay in communication with school officials, coaches, religious leaders, and other community members for additional support in academics, extracurricular activities, and possibly mentorships. Encourage high schools to award youth caregivers community service hours for the work they are doing based on their level of responsibility. Often these hours are needed for high school graduation and are important on college applications. If there is a mentoring program in your area, a mentor for your child may also be helpful as someone to confide in and be another caring adult in their life. Just like us adults, sometimes children who help with caregiving can become anxious, depressed, burned out, fatigued, or even have physical symptoms. A youth caregiver can experience isolation and feeling they are the only ones with these responsibilities, reluctance to talk to their friends or teachers about their situation, fear of what might happen to them or their family if the parent veteran dies, frustration over the fact that they don't feel normal and may not be able to participate in extracurricular activities, anger that they are being singled out, wondering, why me? In their understanding of what other family members are going through, your kids may be protective and hesitant to share their feelings or worries. They often don't want to create additional stress, and you, as a parent, may feel guilty that your child is missing out or unable to have a normal childhood. At the same time, your child's well-being impacts your whole family. Like you, they may experience depression, which they may try to hide. Sometimes youth caregivers put on a mask around others to signal on the outside that they are okay, or they may act out at school to get some attention or release frustration. They may struggle academically due to time constraints, being up during the night and then feeling tired the next day, along with the stresses of having extra demands on them at home. When a family is in survival mode, and this is how caregiving often is, we get through one day at a time. For youth, it's hard for them to imagine life beyond caregiving. They may not even be able to think about their future education or career choices and may feel obligated to remain home to continue their responsibilities. You and your young person may need additional support. Some signs that may indicate additional help is needed include changes in your work or your child's school performance, lateness or absences, inability to focus, incomplete work product or homework, sudden mood changes, lack of attention to appearance, withdrawal from family and friends, physical symptoms such as headaches or digestion irregularities, bullying behavior, or being bullied. If you have or observe these behaviors over time, you might consider getting some professional help for yourself, your child, or your family. Remember, asking for help is a sign of strength. Thank you for spending the time to take this course. We hope you feel equipped and emboldened to better support these young caregivers. Remember CARE, connection, advocacy, research, and education. If you keep these things in mind, you will help a youth caregiver support their veteran and/or other family member. Together, we as the adults can be a voice for the voiceless. We can make these hidden heroes visible, keep them in school, and connected to a support system so that they can enjoy a good quality of life and pursue a bright future.
If you have any questions or need assistance, go to the PsychArmor website or call the PsychArmor support line at 844-779-2427. Thank you for completing this course and taking that one step further in learning about our American veterans.